Hello and welcome back to the Thought Leader Group podcast. I'm Sam Bylett. Today I'm joined by Heather Fenty, Director of Sales and Content at OnGig, sorry. Heather, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Great to have you here, Heather. What does the role of the Director of Sales and Content involve?
Right. So OnGig we're basically a virtual job description management platform. So we work with companies of all sizes, really, from small businesses all the way up to enterprise to kind of organize their job description process from everywhere from storing them to rewriting, writing from scratch, and just kind of improving the workflow around everything job description. As Director of Sales and Content, I work with all of our content creators. So our team of people that write our blog, which is blog.ongig.com, lots of free resources around job descriptions, training materials, podcasting scripts, all of the content things that go behind OnGig. And then on the sales side, I work with potential new clients to demo the platform and kind of guide them through the procurement process and then hand them off to our client success team after that.
Interesting. And what originally kind of drew you into this space?
Yeah, so I actually started, a funny story, when I used to be a scuba instructor in Barbados. I also did some virtual assistant work on the side. And I connected with Rob Kelly, who's the CEO of OnGig, and started doing some admin things, but also writing content for OnGig on a very part-time basis. And then when COVID happened, everything shifted. I wasn't scuba diving anymore. And so I just started writing more and more about, the job description space and really liked it. So kind of took on more and more responsibility and eventually became full-time with OnGig.
It sounds like a good job to have
Yeah.
scuba diving in Barbados.
Yeah, it was fun. That's my husband's from there. I lived and worked there for just over 8 years. We still go back and forth. But yeah, it was good. I was, diving by day and then writing by night, I guess you could say.
Yeah, amazing. There's plenty of sharks out there, isn't there? As I remember rightly.
If you ask the locals, they'll say the sharks are only on the beach, the ones that are trying to sell you stuff.
Love it. So who gets the most out of OnGig's platform? Is it usually kind of Fortune 500 TA teams or highly regulated industries, or does it vary more than people think?
Yeah, I think, you mentioned both, actually, and then even more people. So again, we work with companies of all sizes. It's really anyone that has a problem with job descriptions. So some of our clients use the platform basically to just create job descriptions from scratch because they're not copywriters. And, maybe they just have 20 jobs that they hire for a year. And then on the other end, we have clients who have thousands of job descriptions that are maybe outdated, not consistent, or in the regulated industries, there's a lot of compliance language that needs to be in each posting. So we help them retemplate in bulk, rewrite, update for consistency. And then we have some kind of checks and balances around making sure that whatever is in our platform matches what goes live on their career site. So we do some applicant tracking system integrations and things like that.
Job ads with inclusive, gender neutral language get 54% more applicants. Are your clients seeing that play out in real time?
Yeah, so our platform is built on research similar to that. So every job posting or description that goes into Text Analyzer gets a score, and the score is based on gender neutrality and also readability. So just overall creating a good job posting that candidates will apply for. And we have historically seen that the job postings that are more gender neutral perform better, get more applications, but also more quality people. I found a few years ago, people would be coming to us on demos and needs calls saying, we need more people to apply. But now it's because of AI or maybe overrun with applications and they need more quality people. Regardless, having that kind of gender neutral posting with good, plain, readable language that candidates care about helps.
Yeah, sure. And beyond kind of language inclusivity, are you seeing any other big shifts in what employees are prioritizing, whether it's compliance, DEA, or how AI is affecting the job content?
Yeah, definitely. There's been a lot of questions around compliance, specifically pay transparency recently on a lot of calls that I've been on. So there are almost every week, it seems like now, more and more laws and legislations, things being passed to say that, you need to show salary, a range, or benefits in all of your job content based on the location that you're hiring in. So that's a big one. I'm also hearing, teams coming to us and saying, we want to use AI for our job postings. And that, to me, from what I've heard, is really around just speeding up the process for them, making it easier because they're doing more with less. So some, TA teams are being cut in half, or their budgets are being cut. And so they have less resources. So they want to be able to use AI responsibly, obviously, to, rewrite their job postings or create some from scratch as kind of like a starting point to help so they can spend time on other tasks that they need to work on as well. Related to DEI, we've seen, depending on the location, so people from the UK and Canada are still very focused on DEI and making sure that, their hiring practices and their job postings are inclusive things. So some people are still making it a priority and others are kind of treading lightly, I guess you could say.
A TA leader listening who's trying to stand out in this tough market, what's something you'd want on their radar when it comes to their job descriptions?
Yeah, so we really, in our onboarding and training of our clients, we talk about candidate first job postings. So reworking, even if you have a great job posting, maybe you're starting with about the company first, which is good information, but candidates probably are going to spend, 10 seconds or so scanning the job posting first, and they really want to see what's in it for them to start. So what would they be doing on a daily basis? What would their benefits be? Are they working remotely or is it hybrid? What's the salary? All the things that can help them make a quick decision to continue reading.
LinkedIn's latest data showed that applications per job postings are down 23% year over year. How are you helping clients make sure their job ads actually stand out and attract that quality talent?
Yeah, I think it's historically people, and it's getting better, I think, but for years we've seen companies that are just posting their internal job descriptions and it just looks like a legal document and people are just not even, it's like, next, I'm going to the next one. I'm not even looking at this. So I think it's really important to realize that there's a difference and go in and use the job description because yes, there's some important information, but reword it and make it more of a marketing piece to attract candidates instead of just using the same thing for internal versus external.
Yeah, sure. And what are some of the biggest mistakes you see when it comes to writing and distributing job descriptions?
Yeah, I think all of the kind of the buzzwords and, you want make sure they can work in a fast-paced environment and, competitive and just words that maybe they're sick of looking at, to be honest. It's like, just be real with me. Tell me what it's about. Connect with me as a person. I feel like that is a big thing that could really help. And, mission-based things, impact statements, like what is the impact that the role is going to have or the company's going to have on the world? Those seem to be really popular as well with people searching right now.
When you read a job ad, what clues tell you instantly that that company has or hasn't nailed their employee brand?
Yeah, I think you can tell when there's just been a lot of copy and pasting, really long list of requirements, asking someone to have a degree from a top school. I don't know. It just seems kind of outdated. I think if you can really, it's almost like you're having a conversation with someone in an elevator. So you have your own kind of elevator pitch as a company and your brand is being spelled out in that way in your job posting. So when somebody's looking, they can say, okay, I get what they're doing in, an elevator team. We've talked to compensation managers and they have thousands of job descriptions and it's their job for the year to go through and update them. But it's an overwhelming process when you have 50 different templates and all these different versions and different voices. So it usually takes people longer than they expect to actually do that. And that's where we help, automate things and just make it easier. We still have the human aspect, even with our AI and automation, functionality, we still work with the actual people to review things and make sure it's set up to help them and also create good content for their career site.
What big trends do you think will reshape the way companies write job content and attract talent?
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. I've talked to a lot of friends, on the job search side recently where they feel like they've applied to hundreds of jobs and they either been ghosted or, they've gotten an interview and then they say, oh, well, we've hired someone else. And then they see the job posted again. I feel like with AI and just with how the market is right now, there's just a lot of kind of uncertainty of who's using AI and who's not, and is it helping or is it hurting? And I feel like it's going to be kind of a roller coaster for the next few years on both kind of like the creation side, but also the ingesting side of the job posting as a candidate. So I honestly don't know, but I feel like it's almost like with SEO when AI came out. Google and traffic, all of that is just different. So on the content side, we as a content team have to shift how we're doing everything to, get content to the right people. And I think it's going to be similar to that as far as job postings and reaching the right candidates go. But yeah, I wish I knew the answer, but hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it does. And what's one area of AI that really is kind of exciting you right now? Is it maybe bias detection, SEO, optimization? Where do you see the biggest opportunity?
I think, and we've been testing some things at OnGig and our platform, anybody can go on ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, wherever you go for your AI stuff, and ask it to write a job posting and give it some prompts, here and there. But we've kind of noticed that there's still a ton of bias, that if you're smart and you can give it enough prompts, you can remove it. But also, the same person 100 miles away or whatever is doing the same thing and you're getting the same output. So I think what we're really working on is ingesting some of company information and kind of resources to help cater that to the company's voice and their brand. So maybe they have a style guide or a certain way that they want to be perceived, and using that voice to create job postings that sound like them and not like everyone else. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, exciting stuff. And for our audience, how can they kind of find out a bit more about OnGig and connect with yourself?
Yeah, so you can visit our website, which is ongig.com. There's actually a request a demo button on there, and you easily get connected to me. We can start with a kind of a needs call. So we do a 15-minute kind of meet and greet, learn a little bit about your workflow, and decide how to tailor a custom demo. So are we looking at removing bias? Or are we more focused on consistency or compliance, or just having a place to store the job posting? So I know there's a lot of different problems that people are trying to solve. So we kind of talk about that on the demos.
Yeah, great stuff. Okay, Heather, it's been a great conversation. Really appreciate your time today. And hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No worries.